Pool fans, welcome back to another video. In this episode, we're going to look at the very cue I use in all my videos in this pool room and, of course, on that table. And I've got two of them to show you. I'll explain why I've got two. Very kindly donated by the boys at J Flowers. Beautiful looking cue. We'll go through it. I'll give you some close-ups and we'll hit some balls. Right, I'm not going to lie. Let me just explain why I picked this cue. Of course, I've got two. One's got a wrap, one doesn't. I'll show you the close-ups in a minute. Over the years, you know, I've had a few cue sponsors. When I was on tour playing professional, I was with Predator. Now the boys at J Flowers are looking after me. Obviously, if you've not heard of J Flowers, I'll put the link in the description. I'm sure you have, though. They sponsor players like Jason Shaw. They've just signed Scott Frost and many others. Earl the Pearl Strickland. How could I forget him? Listen, when I'm looking at a cue on a website, do you do this? I just look and see if I like the look of the cue, especially the butt end. Obviously, the top end, we've all gone carbon fibre crazy. I've got the carbon shaft. J Flowers have got another shaft out. It's this one right here. I've not received that one yet. Hopefully, I can get a hold of that because I think that'd suit me more than the carbon fibre. I won't lie. However, this cue, I've hit a few balls, obviously, on the videos. Plays lovely. You've probably seen it in some of the videos. Back to what the cue looks like. I mean, just look at this. In fact, let me get a proper close-up for you. Right, guys, this is the Valkyrie J Flowers pool cue. All this fancy design and inlays, and this is ring work and all this. I have no clue what that is. I don't know what material it is. I just know that that is a bonny-looking cue. Let me know in the comments if you think this is a sexy pool cue. No wrap. I mean, look at this. Just look at all that there. This is a radial pin joint. In my opinion, the best joint on the market. If you've seen, how do I explain this in layman's terms? If you're familiar with the unilock joint that some cues have, that literally connects the shaft and the butt together. Like in about 3 seconds, you turn it once and it's tight. So the idea being with this is that all these lock into the cue, into the shaft, and it takes time. So you see how that touches that? It won't go anymore. So let's just pretend it was unilock. You'd literally just slide it down, lock, little turn, and it locks it. Job done. This takes you forever. You're screwing it, and it goes on super, super tight. Even better, I'll just show you. So you see what I mean? You point it in, it's taking ages to screw together. And then when it gets to the very end, it's really tight and you've got to give it a bit. And basically, there's more of the joint going into the shaft. So it's making it, in some ways, feel like a one-piece cue. Of course, it's not a one-piece cue. But that's the theory behind it. More of the joint is going into the shaft. Now, remember when I told you I didn't know which cue to get? I didn't know whether to get the Wrapless, which is this one, or get one with the wrap on it. So the boys at J Flowers looked after me, and hey presto, we've got both cues. I actually think this one's better looking. It just, I don't know, which one do you prefer, the one with the wrap or the one without? That is some beautiful cues. A lot of beautiful cues on the market, but I think we can all agree this is right up there. This is all the ring work, as I was saying, where are we? Yeah, this is like aluminium or silver rings. You can actually get silver and gold. I've seen some of them in the cues over the years. But I just love the way this cue looks. This is how the cue arrives, with this rubber butt cap protector on it. I've took that off and I've put this one on because now an extension fits at the back of it. So that's an option as well. In fact, look at the inlays there on the bottom of the cue. Let's have a little look. Let's look at that. Honestly, that is a work of art. Let's look at both cues together. The nearest one to me is the one with the wrap. Guys, girls, in the comments, let me know which one looks the sexiest. Is it the one with wrap or the one without? It's hard to tell, actually, isn't it? I think one day I prefer the one without the wrap, and then the next day I prefer the one with the wrap. But yeah, looking at that there, I have no clue. But I know some they are a couple of absolute beauties. This is the shaft. It's the SMO J Flowers carbon fibre shaft. I hope you can make out that SMO logo. I'm actually using my phone for this bit. I think you can. Yeah, and you've got a couple of the silver or aluminium looking rings at the bottom. And there you can see that's what the bottom of the shaft looks like when you get a radial pin joint. Right, let's have a look at the tip. So this is the Tower Fusion tip. Haven't really shaped it to my desired shape. That's just how it come. If I was playing on the circuit, I'd have it a tiny bit lower, but listen, it is what it is. Now, it's got some sort of black collar on here and some sort of silver collar. Have no clue what that is about. Hopefully we can get the info on the website. And the ferrule, that's the white collar, very short on this shaft. But I'll tell you what, the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things for me, should I say, is just how smooth this shaft is. So smooth on the hand. If you're a bit of a sweaty Betty and you wear a glove, you won't know, but I don't like wearing a glove. And I'll tell you what, this is smooth. Also, the taper of the cue. So, in layman's terms, this is the cue thickness here. And if that was continuing all the way down, it'd be quite a thick shaft, 12.5mm tip. So the taper is from about here. You can see it actually just coming off the table. That's how it should be. It's not bent. So from about here to here, 12 to 14 inches of taper. Now, when I hit some balls, listen, I'll tell you a little secret. I'm probably not the best person to start reviewing cues. Looks good. I'm happy the way it looks. But the number one thing, obviously, is how it feels in your hand. Yeah, you want it to play nice, but I think like certain level pool players, they just know they can grab a cue without hitting any balls, and you kind of think, oh, this feels good. I kind of think it's going to play good. Now, there has been videos done on YouTube claiming that this is the lowest deflection shaft on the market. I am not the man to judge that, but I'll try and explain again in layman's terms what they're talking about when they've got some balls on the table. But also, I'll leave the link in the description to some of these videos that are claiming that this is the lowest deflection on the market. Now, I'm not going to bore you with me potting balls and playing like a genius, but I tell you what, I'm not joking when I say this. I know, like, obviously you're thinking, oh, he's got a big logo up, he's getting lots of dollar, but you know my name is Carl the Truth, boys. This frigging cue feels lovely. And something else, I'm not a big fan of carbon, all this carbon fibre. When I was playing back in the day, carbon had just sort of started to come out. Obviously, all the cue manufacturers are making carbon fibre shafts. I think I still prefer the feel of wood. However, what I will say is this feels smooth as out on your hand. If you're like me and you don't sweat, your hands don't get very sweaty and you don't need a glove, listen, this is smooth. I don't know what they've done to the carbon, but it's got to be one of the smoothest shafts on the market. Honestly, it just glides through the hand. Lovely. Again, I'm not using a wrap. I do have the wrap, of course. We know that's an option. But I tell you what, it feels frigging superb in the hands. It really does. Now, I'm not going to bore you with me playing loads of pool, but let me try and explain this low deflection in the best way I possibly can.
I'm aiming full at the 9 ball. I'm using the carbon shaft. I'm playing with loads of right spin. And as you can see, it hits the 9 fairly full. This next shot, I'm using an old wooden whippy shaft, aiming at the same spot, and look at the difference.
That is the cowboy's test when it comes to deflection. So the first shot I played was with the J Flowers carbon SMO shaft. As you could see, when you're aiming loads aside, and I'm aiming straight at the 9 ball, the cue ball doesn't want to squirt off to the left. Obviously, I'm playing it with right hand English or spin. so it doesn't throw to the left as much. That's what they mean when they say low deflection. The second shot I was using, actually this cue apparently used to be Earl Strickland's back in the day. I bought it when I was in America about 20 years ago. I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe I'll do a video on that. Anyway, so I was using this cue. My little boy uses this cue. He started playing pool. So he's been using this cue. This is as whippy as it comes. See how bendy that is? Look at that. So you could see on the second shot, it just wants to squirt out to the left more. Okay guys, I've done my best to explain about these cues as best as I can and show you the deflection in my own crazy sort of way. Lucky enough to have two cues, wrapless and one with wrap. Now for the most important part, how much are these cues? Right, I'm on the website. The Valkyrie cue, no wrap. 1 second, SMO shaft, radial pin, 12.5, standard weight, blah, 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 blah. No extension, so that's obviously going to cost you a bit more. $2,018. That is for the cue without the wrap. So let's have a look. Wrapless. By the way, my face is red because it's absolutely red hot here in England, so I've got a bit of sunburn. Right, black triple wrap. Bizarrely, that's $200 cheaper. It's coming in at $1,799 US. So, are you a wrap fan or a wrapless fan? It's up to you guys. Again, I've done my best explaining these cues. It's not really my forte. I just have to explain it in layman's terms. Link in the description if you are a pool geek and you want to know more about low deflection and what that means. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. More videos coming. And this was filmed on a GoPro and an iPhone. I think it's back to vlogging for me.